Good morning and welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Today I wanted to talk about my experience. Last night I had the pleasure of visiting an absolutely gorgeous beauty school here in Florida. For those of you who are new to Coffee Chat, my name's Elaine Travis. I owned a hair salon for 30 years up until this January. My daughter is now taking over my salon, and I moved to sunny St. Pete, Florida. So, good morning, Ashley. Hi, Artie. Welcome. Hey, Maisie. Jeff Travis. So, because I'm doing education full time now, I have the time to do what I always promised that I would do. When I went to beauty school in 1986, my goal was to become a successful salon owner and then eventually to become a teacher and share what I learned with other people. So now that I'm doing education full time, I'm able to fit that in. The problem has been connecting with the right schools. I have not gotten a warm and fuzzy reception from most schools. They're not interested in having me come in. I'm offering to come in and teach absolutely free. I'm not looking for any kind of compensation. I'm just looking to motivate those students and try and inject some passion into the new people coming up in the industry. I'm not seeing the level of passion that I would love to see. And I don't know if it's, I know my generation blames everything on technology and the internet, but the attention span, I am more ADD than anyone I know, and it's hard to keep my attention. But with people with the phones, you know, the entire time I'm speaking at this beautiful school, it's a beautiful facility, state-of-the-art, everything, brand new, everything, the decor was, I mean, I would love to work in a space that beautiful. And, you know, out of the group, probably 30% just keep looking down at their phone, looking down at their phone. And I'm like, okay, I'm here on my own time. I don't gain anything from this. I'm trying to share with you my success and what I would do differently if I could turn back time and start all over again. This is what I would do. And that's what the talk was about. It's a program that I do at the hair shows where people pay to come. So I was offering it to them free of charge. And just talking about, it's called Broke to Booked, and it's talking about like you can stay broke forever in this industry or you can get successful really quick. And that's where the positive of the cell phones comes in, because I've seen stylists and colorists that are beyond successful, have way more followers and more attention than I have in the education realm, because they're more tech savvy and they know the right hashtags and they're getting themselves in front of more people. Their information and techniques may not even be like mine or as much as mine because I have so much more experience, but it doesn't matter. To this generation, they look cool. You know, they have the cool hat and the tattoos and the cool clothes. And I come in looking like, you know, the lunch lady mom to these young kids. And they're kind of like, oh, what's this lady going to have to say to me that's going to change my world? But the interesting thing that I always find, I have been blessed with a lot of opportunities to get in front of people at major hair shows. I was at the 100th anniversary of IBS New York. That was such a thrill for me because that was my first beauty show I ever went to. So as an attendee and a student, we went while we were in beauty school, and they piled us on this yellow school bus, told us to pack a lunch because they told us how very expensive New York City was going to be, and they put this fear in us that it was going to be $800 for a cheeseburger, and it felt like $800 for a cheeseburger, and they were right. It was very expensive. But the butterflies and anticipation and the passion that I had then for the industry and the passion I still have now. Like when I was driving to that beauty school, I was so excited to get in front of these people and try to make a difference to them. And when you're speaking to a group and you have that blank stare in front of you, they just had this look on their face like, who are you? Why are you talking to me? I just want to be on my phone. And at first, I got in the car when I was leaving and I was like, oh, why did I waste my time? I had to drive an hour to get there, drive an hour back. It was at night. So I could be having a nice dinner with my husband, and I'm teaching at beauty school. So I just kept forging through it. And because I have been blessed to be at the big hair shows, the energy in the room at a hair show is palpable, because the people that are there were not forced to be there. The difference between a beauty school classroom and a hair show is the beauty school classroom, this was the night class, so they're tired. They've been at whatever all day long, and now they're in night school. So I get it. It's tiring to sit in a classroom. And they don't know me, so they're not impressed that I'm there to teach them. They're kind of like, oh, more stuff they're going to make me listen to that I don't want to listen to. But there's always that one or two people in the room that give you the energy to keep going. And I've have enough experience that I have to find that spark in somebody's eyes. When I'm scanning the room and I'm talking, and I'm so excited, and I'm getting a lot of that. You are so boring, get out of my face, I don't want to hear you. It's hard to keep talking, and it's hard to stay motivated. You just want to say, you want to walk up to people and shake them and say, why are you here? Did your parents put a gun to your head and make you come here? And these were not young kids. This was not, right out of high school kids. This is night school. These are people that have tried other things, it didn't work out, and then it's like, oh, let me try this. But it was like this deadness in their eyes of, I really just don't want to be here. So then I was like, okay, maybe what I'm talking about is boring. Maybe they don't want to hear the rah-rah Tony Robbins version of the beauty industry. Maybe if I start to talk about color, which really lights me up, maybe they'll see my energy shift and their energy will shift. And then I started to get into talking about my Let's Kick Brass class, which I love teaching. It's like my favorite class. And I started talking about that. And I said, if you are in school and someone comes in and they're requesting to go from a level 5 to an 8, don't beat yourself up that the hair is brassy. This is why. And then I pulled my book out and I said, I wrote this book in a snowstorm. It was a labor of love. And I was so happy to be able to get everything down on paper in one spot, because I've said the same thing over and over again to so many people in my own salon that I've had to train in color that I got sick of hearing myself. So I just thought, hey, let me write it in a book, and whoever cares to read it will read it and will benefit from the information. And once I pulled the book out, all of a sudden, everybody starts leaning in. The body language was like, oh, she has a book. Maybe she does have something to say. I shouldn't have to have a book to get their attention. That's not the point of me saying this. It's that this generation needs that influencer kind of mentality. They want to know that Kim Kardashian, that I, cut her bangs once. Like, they want that celebrity wow factor. And it's a shame, because most of the best colorists that I know in the industry don't really care about being famous. They don't have an Instagram, or if they do, it's not even run by themselves. It's run by whatever manufacturer they're representing their product, and they have nothing to do with it. They don't care. They don't care about followers. They don't care about how many likes, and neither do I. Like, it's hard for me. I have to do all that to be in education and to be able to find people that want my information. So I'm forced to do that, but it shouldn't take that to be able to share your years of experience. What I want to do when I'm in that beauty school, I want to save that person from sitting and going through the dreaded first 2 years of the industry where you're like, how the hell am I supposed to pay my bills? How am I going to ever have a car? How am I ever going to pay my own utilities and get my own apartment? That's the reality of when you're in beauty school. So I wanted to share with them, don't do this. This is what I did. Don't do this. Do this. And I guess it's like with anything, with parenting, with life in general, like, you can't tell someone, they have to live it and experience it on their own. But it's just really frustrating to not be able to share that, because I wish that somebody would have told me to stick it out and do things a certain way. I tried to skip the assisting phase because I thought I was so cool and so experienced. I was that rocking kitchen beautician that had people lined up out my door waiting to have their hair done on my porch, and I thought I was all that. The reason they wanted their hair done on my porch is because I wasn't charging them. I was practicing, and the word got out, free hair and she's good. Of course I was busy, but I had so much more to learn and would have benefited so much more with getting right with a strong hair color mentor, because I always knew color was going to be my thing, and just standing next to them and absorbing everything that they did and not feeling like it was beneath me to do that. I felt way too cool, way too experienced, and I was offered a chair right away. So I thought that was like the coolest thing ever, and that I had arrived because I had a chair. But then I had to make my mistakes on paying clients that you never have a chance to get them back. Did you ever think, those of you watching me, most of you have a lot of experience and you've been behind the chair for a long time. Have you ever sat and thought about the amount of people that have come through your door and through your chair over the amount of years that you've done hair? Someone will just pop into your head and you'll think, I wonder what happened to her. And man, I wish I had a chance to do her hair now. What I know now versus what I knew when I did her hair and had no idea what I was doing. Wouldn't that be awesome to get all those people back in your chair and be able to do an extreme makeover with them and show them how far you've come? That's what lights me up. So what happened last night was, when I shifted into, when you're trying to lighten somebody from a 5 to an 8, it's not your fault that it's orange and brassy. It's the law of color. It's nature. It's God put tremendous amounts of pheomelanin into us. And it's in our body, it's in our skin color, it's in our hair color, it's in our eye color. So you trying to lighten somebody, it's not that you don't have the latest and greatest in hair color. It's not that there's another line out there you haven't experienced. It's that it's not possible. So I was trying to tell them that now, so that they don't feel like, oh, I turned her orange because I'm in beauty school. No, you turned her orange because going from a 5 to an 8 in a single process is always going to be orange, always. So that's why I love teaching, because I don't want anyone to have that happen by accident. I want to say to them, don't do it. Don't try to do it. Do it this way. So I offered to go back to the school and teach an actual technique. And now I'm very torn between whether I want to do it or not. And I hate that, because I love to teach. I love to give back. And I love to ignite passion in other people. But here's the problem. You can't. I can't give you passion. I can give you information, but I can't give you passion. And that is so frustrating. I have a whole new compassion and understanding and view of beauty school teachers. I'm on here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Most Wednesdays, I'm venting my frustration, saying, what are they teaching these people? Why are they coming out not knowing? Now I get it. They're being taught. It's just sometimes they're not listening, and they're on their phone, and they think they know it all. They're not paying attention. So this beauty school in particular, now there are still schools that I've been in where I'm like, oh my gosh, did you really just say that? Like, they are not teaching them, in my opinion, properly. It's like so old school that it's ridiculous. It needs to be updated. But this school, the owner was there watching me, because they're always like, oh, what's she gonna say? And he could not have been nicer. And I said to him, please correct me if I am stepping on anybody's toes and saying something that goes against what you teach, because I don't want to confuse your students. I said it in front of the students to the owner. I said, sometimes the way that I teach is completely different, and I don't want to confuse them. I don't know. This is night school, and it's February. Did they start in January? Did they start in September? When did this class start? Did they even do hair color yet? So when I started talking about the eye trick that I share all the time, with looking into someone's eyes, the ring around the inside, there's the dark circle outside, and then there's that inner circle. And you can see in my eyes how much gold and yellow that I have in there. It matches my picture back there. These are my colors, gold and yellow. So when you look at me, if I'm a client in your chair for the consultation, you know right away, she's going to pull a lot of gold, a lot of yellow, a lot of brass. Do not attempt to make her blonde in one step. It just saves you all that aggravation. Then I went into skin tone. I pulled up my sleeve. And I found the one twinkly eye in the classroom, so I kept talking right to her. I was like, you know what? You phone people, I'm not talking to you anymore. You're in timeout. I'm not sharing with you anymore. You can listen, but I'm not looking at you. So I went up to the girl with the sparkle and I said, see my inside of my arm? And I put it against hers. And she happened to be very warm, like honey colored skin tone and had green veins. I'm very, very pink and have blue veins. So I put my arm against hers and I shared that in a consultation. When you're wondering whether the client should be warm or cool, that's really the easiest way to tell. And clients love it. They eat it up. They're like, oh my gosh, no one's ever asked to see the inside of my wrist before. The reason that I use the inside of the wrist is because people get sun. I'm in Florida now, so I'm a little bit more tan on here. So you can't tell how cool I am because I have a little bit of brown from having sun. But when I flip it over, look at my palm. It's like super pink, super pale, and my veins are all blue. There's no green in my veins whatsoever. So that's a trick that I hope that you'll try and I hope you'll share with your guests. So what does that mean? Pink, pale, blue veins is ashy, cool blonde. Your cool mushroom browns, not a lot of gold, not a lot of amber colors in your highlights. You want to keep it as cool as possible. They can be a wonderful redhead, but they have to be a blue-based red, more of that violet-y red, not orange or strawberry. Strawberry is tricky because strawberry can go violet-y, and that's good for a cool tone person. But like a true coppery, who's the girl that was in The Help? She was the rich drunk, what is her name? Anyway, she looks great as strawberry and she leans towards that more violet-y strawberry, so it works with her pale skin tone. So pretty much any client can be any color family per se, like anybody can be a blonde, anybody can be a redhead, anybody can be a brunette, anybody can be dark, but it's the tone that makes the difference. It's not necessarily the family of color, it's the actual tone. So you'll see someone in one class that I do, I have pictures of Jennifer Aniston that were computer generated in a magazine that we got at the salon. And it's all plastic surgeons in there. And they had Jen Aniston with like a super ashy, almost gray blonde. She looked awful. And we get more requests for Jen Aniston's color than anyone ever in the history of my career, that people want her golden, buttery blonde. She has all those different fun tones and highlights. But if you put those buttery tones on someone who's not supposed to be golden, then it's constantly fighting with their skin tone. They have to change their makeup, colors, the color of clothing that they wear. Did you ever notice, like because I'm cool toned, if I wear like a really bright pink color, my whole face lights up. Like it literally shows my skin looks great, my color, my hair color looks more pale, everything pops with a bright pink. Or like this, bright blue. You'll see me, I wear tons of blue because I think it brings my blue eyes out, it makes my hair feel blonder. Black is just kind of, you are what you are. It's not gonna accent or take away. Sometimes it can take away. But color in general, I think some of us get in the habit of thinking of our client as just like a head. It's just, we're just dealing with this. If we could just take the head off and put it on a platform and deal with the hair, we'd be fine. But we're not. We have to look at the whole client. How is she dressed? What color clothing is she wearing? Is this color going to complement her overall look? If she comes in and she's always in black and she's pasty pale and, is completely washed out and has no makeup on, you don't want to make her a level 3 Kardashian dark because she's just going to look like she crawled out of the crypt. Like you have to do something to bring attention somewhere else to her monochrome, all black. She's trying to disappear. So you need to make something happen up here to bring people's attention up here and not to all this. So that was a very long rant, but basically the moral of this whole talk today is when you do have somebody offering you information, sometimes it can be annoying if it's a parent trying to give you parenting advice. You know, if you're having young kids and the grandparents are coming over and they're saying, oh, you shouldn't do that, or you should give them rice cereal, they'll sleep better. And all that advice that I know, I was like, oh, I got this. I go to a pediatrician, I know. Just remember that people come from a place of love and they're trying to save you from making the mistakes that they made. And that is what I'm trying to do as an educator. When I educate, I don't want to show anybody how smart I am or how much information I know. Where I'm coming from is if I could add up the amount of money that I've invested in learning about hair color over the last 32 years, if I put all that money into a treasure chest, I could retire tomorrow very well on the beach, not have to work another day in my life. I will never regret spending that money on education, because that's why I was able to be successful, and that's why I'm able to walk away from my salon and start a whole new thing at 51 years old, because I'm confident that I have enough information that if I just find the right people that are open to it, that are the passionate ones. I have online courses and I've sold many, many courses, and I'm able to look on the course platform where people are in the course. I have people, more than one, probably a half a dozen people that have purchased my first course, Broke to Booked, which is the one about you're right out of beauty school, this is what you need to do to skip all the aggravation and get, hit the ground running and be successful. That's first. Then I have Hair Color Simplified. That is all my passion and energy into simplifying the formulation process. Don't make it complicated. This is how you formulate. This is how you do a single process application. This is how I do a basic foil. This is how I do an advanced foil. Break it all down that way. Then the third course, which is current right now, is Secrets of a Six-Figure Colorist. That's a more advanced course for, okay, you understand how to build your book, you understand how to formulate. Now we need to get you to that next level and have you start charging what you're worth, do more couture techniques, up your game, do things differently, take more time with your clients, don't jam everybody in. That's the current course. So I have people who've bought every single course and they're still at 0%. So they bought the first course, then they saw that I had another course, bought that, then they saw that I have another course, bought that, but they never did the first course. So they've spent, at this point with all three courses, it's well over $1,500 for all three. And just buying a course isn't going to make you successful. And I can't reach into the computer and pull you in and say, hey, you bought the course, let's go, let's get on this. So I'll send a little friendly reminder and say, hi, I noticed, you haven't gotten to the course. Oh, nobody knows more than me how busy life gets. I know things happen, things pop up, but make sure you go in and check that stuff out. You made an investment. I want you, to get your money's worth, and I want it to be good for you. Crickets. And the next course, 0%. So my point is, there's other people who buy the course and binge it and they eat it all up and they send me emails and they're like, what's next? That's what I want to see in the industry. I want people who are hungry for information, who actually are going to implement what they learn. So going to a class, rolling your eyes and looking at your phone, stay home, don't waste your money. If you want the information, it's out there. And it's not always just at home on YouTube. I hear from a lot of people, oh, I don't want to invest in the course because I can learn all that on YouTube. And you can't. There's nobody on YouTube that's breaking down how to pick what base you're going to use on the color and why is it going to turn orange and when is it not going to turn orange and how's that going to happen. That I know of, I don't think anybody's giving that information out free. So if you're struggling with any of those topics, please reach out to me. If you're interested in following me and finding out when I go live, I always jump on when I can and do free little tips and tricks. Comment on here on this coffee chat, the word color. And my many chat setup will make sure that you're on the list so that any classes that I do, anytime that I jump on here to do a training, you'll get notified just by commenting just the word color on the comments here. So I hope you enjoyed today's chat. I hope you stay in touch, and I have to get to work. I will see everyone next week. Have a great rest of your week and keep in touch. Don't forget, comment color so we can stay in touch.